Most dads think about strength in numbers, like, oh, I can bench 225, I can deadlift or squat 400 pounds, that kind of thing. But I'll tell you right now, the moment I realized strength isn't necessarily about what you're doing in the weight room, it's really about what your kids think about you. Like, I've had my son brag about me to his friends just randomly, and that shit feels so good. And it just really puts in the point that, like, your kids are always watching what you're doing, and then you want your kids to be proud of you. When your kid says something that is bragging about you, it means that he's watching. It means you're making an impact. It means that he is proud of who his dad is. And ultimately, like, that's the biggest flex in the world, that your kid is proud of who his dad really is as a person. Because the fact is, your training isn't just about you. It's also about the impact it's going to have on your kids, like the kind of example you are setting for them on a day-to-day basis. Your kids aren't going to listen to you as much as they're going to mimic your behaviors. So when they see what dad does when times are hard, do they see you quit? Or do they see you fucking pull yourself up and take care of and handle business? Like, what are you going to show your kids when times get hard or when you're going through some shit? Like, do you want to be the dad that steps up to the plate and leads, with strength? Or are you going to be that dad that's hiding behind of a bunch of excuses? And that's why it's so important to be a strong dad for your kids, because it's not just about your muscles and your strength. It's really about being the kind of man that your kid's going to brag about, the kind of man that your kid is proud of. Because the fact is, like, your strength is not just about the physical part of it, right? It's also about the emotional, it's about the mental, it's about the spiritual aspect of it. Like, you have to show strength in all aspects. And I am fortunate enough to have led by example as well as I can, to the point to where my kids do brag about me. Like yesterday, my son was telling a group of friends as I walked up, like, oh, he just randomly said, my dad's actually pretty strong. And that kind of made me laugh, but it's also not just about the physical part of it, right? Because he's not just talking about my biceps or my chest or whatever. He's talking about the fact that, like, he sees me show up every single day. He sees me handling my stress without blowing up, because that's something that I've been working on personally for my children, to try to lead from an area of strength. It's also showing him how to chase my goals and chase my aspirations, and have the discipline to continue after those goals until I reach what I ultimately want. And time again, no matter how hard life gets, I don't crumble. I don't make excuses. When shit happens, I think, hey, we got a problem, and now we got to fix this shit. We got to solve it. We got to figure out a solution. And he sees that every single day. Because your kids don't just want a strong dad, they need a strong dad. Because a weak dad is just gonna breed kids and raise kids that don't know how to be strong when times get tough. And the reality is, life is fucking hard, and it's going to always be hard. You're always gonna have curveballs thrown your way, and your kids need to be taught how to handle those kind of situations. It's a pretty scary thought, thinking of our children growing up and going out into this world, because this world is fucked up, and it's not some little cakewalk. Like, they're gonna have to deal with their own battles, and you know what, they're going to remember how their dad handled those same battles. So that's how they're going to show up, right? So if you crumbled under pressure, and you just let that take over your life, and you don't know how to handle it, that's the same way your kids are going to handle that crap. They're not going to come prepared. They're not going to come into life actually ready to take on the daily battles or the weekly battles or the monthly or the crazy shit that life's going to throw at them. And that's such a big driving force of why I train so hard, why I track my macros, why I just simply stay as disciplined as I possibly can. Not just because I'm obsessed with how I look, like, yeah, that's an awesome part of, the equation. Like, I love my physique, but it's also because, like, I'm obsessed with trying to teach my children the best possible, habits I can, and leave that legacy behind, so they actually have a good blueprint to try to follow as they come into their adulthood. And I'm not a perfect dad by any means. I've got a lot of issues that I'm always working on. I'm working on my self-development every single day. And if you're a dad out there listening to this video, think to yourself, like, okay, if my kids were with a group of friends and they were, how are they going to talk about you? Are they going to brag about you? Are they going to complain about you? Are they going to avoid talking about you because they're embarrassed of their dad? That's something that should hit home. Like, what kind of example are you leading for your kids? So that ultimate flex really isn't what you're doing in the gym, or the weights that you're lifting, but it is what you're leaving behind. And for your kids to want to point at their dad and be like, hey, I'm proud that that's my dad. Like, that right there is the ultimate flex. But that all comes from your daily habits, your routines, how you take care of yourself, how you handle stress. Everything comes into play there. And you can learn all of these things going to the gym and taking care of your body and going and creating that discipline in your life. If you are a dad that's trying to build yourself up physically, mentally, spiritually, all of the above, hit the subscribe button. Let's build this shit together, because at the end of the day, I want every dad to be that kind of a role model for their kids. I want their kids to look at their dads and be like, I'm proud that that's my dad, because at the end of the day, a strong dad's going to build a strong kid.